All right, so today we're doing something a little bit different. Today I got my two buddies, Hunter and JD. Probably know them, Instagram, History of the Flash and Comic Book Hunter. And we all read the same run recently. We all did Bat February, where we only read Batman comics, and we decided we were going to read
It's
Batman by
heavy.
Grant Morrison. Yep.
Yeah, oh god, it's so heavy I can't lift it.
Yeah.
I read it digitally.
It's kind of funny. That's like your first comic you really read was Batman and Son.
The very first comic I ever read when I was
Really?
when I was 10 years old, my dad
Damn.
came home from work with with some random single issue of Batman. I still have it in my drawer somewhere, and this trade. And I had
Wow.
never shown an interest. I like the Justice League cartoon, the Teen Titans cartoon. Like I like the animated stuff. I never showed an interest in comics. My dad gave me this, and I read it. And I mean, I was just so lost. I mean, if you read that first arc, Batman and Son, I mean, it's not a beginner's book, you know.
No.
And
totally not. Yeah.
little scarred by Batman Italia getting it on. Robin, when Damien beats the shit out of Tim and takes the costume. So that kind of, I don't know, I wasn't into comics after that. It took another 3 or 4 years for me to really actually get back into comics.
It literally scared you from
It scared me. I was terrified.
I think you were just overwhelmed, I
think it was just overwhelming. It's just it's not a beginner's book, It's not if you were to give someone their first comic ever, this isn't the book you'd give them.
No.
Yeah.
Come on, JD's dad.
Now, if I was handed Batman Year One back then, oh man, my whole
Perfect.
life might be different.
I mean, it still changed your life in the end.
Yeah, it just took a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I just realized, Hunter, your name is Comic Boo Hunter.
Oh no, I messed up.
Oh my god,
in the
the
Zoom
typos,
call.
the typos.
Of course, it happened to me. What did you expect?
So
what I will say about this, reading it again now, because I hadn't read the whole run. I had read a lot of pieces of the run, such as this arc, the Batman and Son arc. Is we were just talking about nostalgia, where you remember little things. I had remembered, Damien beating up Tim and taking the Robin suit and the father, I imagined you taller. I remember little pieces like that. So reading it again now, I was like, whoa, nostalgia. That's been 12 years since I read that. That's so cool.
Yeah. So anyways, I got I have all the storylines written down in order.
How many are there? I know we just read it, but
so there's Batman and Son, The Black Glove, Batman R.I.P., Batman Reborn, Batman versus Robin, Time in the Batman, The Return of Bruce Wayne, Batman and Robin Must Die, Incorporated, The Leviathan Strikes, Incorporated, Demon Star / Gotham's Most Wanted. So
11.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds about right. 3 omnibuses. Some of them are longer than others.
Yeah.
Well.
So I have a list of all the things I liked about the run. And we can talk about, what would you guys rather do? Go through each storyline and just kind of talk about each, or
Up to you, man.
Yeah, this is your show.
All right, so yeah, I guess we'll go through the storylines. But I also have some pros on the things I liked about the run, and I only have 2 cons about the run.
Only 2?
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I have 7 pros. About the
Wow.
run. So
I
know JD.
This is one of your favorite runs of all time, right?
It's probably number 3 for me.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's probably number 3.
Still hasn't read Invincible. Still trying to get him on it.
Yeah. It'll change.
No, I'll read Invincible soon. Now I was gonna read it on Comixology, and now I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Maybe not.
But yeah, let's go through. It's weird because I know JD, you did not really like this a whole lot. There was bits that you liked, probably the middle. But I mean, we probably text almost every day talking about while we were reading this.
Oh, I gave you my thoughts all along the way.
All throughout it, yeah.
I was, thinking.
This sucks.
Yeah. No, Hunter, I don't know. I mean, I only know a little bit on your thoughts, so this will be interesting.
Yeah, this was my first time reading the run as a whole. I think I lean more towards JD's side here.
Yeah, I figured.
I didn't think it was bad.
There's really good flashes, but then the rest of it, I'm eh.
Yeah, in the
really
middle,
good
like what you said, Drew, the middle was my favorite parts. But I don't know. It's good. It's not great. to me, but we'll go through it.
Yeah.
There's some great moments, but there's also some. I got
So,
some cons.
You got some cons. More cons than pros.
Probably.
So starting off, I'm gonna pull out Omnibus 1, Batman and Son, the introduction of Damien, and what do you guys think? What was overall your thoughts? JD revisiting again. Did you like it? Were you do you enjoy it more now with your?
Oh yeah, definitely more than when I was 10 and was like, wait, there's more than one Robin. Like I was lost, but I think that this is one of the stronger arcs of the run. I think it's like a pretty good start. Like if you know Batman already, like you already have that kind of built up knowledge. The art's pretty great. Andy Kubert, I'm kind of hit or miss on him, but I think it's really good in this run. I think it works. The introduction to Damien's really good. It's kind of sets him up. Like everyone hated him at the time, like he's the annoying little shit, but like
Understandably so.
It does, it kind of shows like how much his development, like reading this, like was like, holy crap, like that's how he started out. Like he's so much better now, I mean, I read a solo series now. I would have never read a solo series back then,
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing that it's funny. I mean, before reading this run, Damien was probably bottom tier Robin for me. Like I did not like Damien at all. This run made me like him. Now he's like probably in my top 3.
Morrison and Tomasi are like the two writers to like kind of get Damien, and I think Williamson is kind of becoming that as well. Like they kind of just get how Damien works.
They saved Damian Wayne essentially.
Yeah. I think this is overall a good arc. The only issue that I thought was really weird was the one that's like all text. That's like the book. I don't remember what issue that is. I think the clown, the clown at midnight. I'm just looking through the trade here. I mean, it doesn't say what issue number it was. But I thought that was like very bizarre, especially because I was reading it digital and I was like, is this all just text?
Yeah. Well, you go from like the Andy Kubert art to all of a sudden it's just all text. And
yeah,
I remember when I was first reading it, I was like, man, can I just skip through this? And I don't know. I remember looking it up online and someone said it was very important. Yeah, someone was saying it was important.
Yeah, this is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Where it's just like straight text. Like it's like a book.
Did you? I actually skipped that.
Yeah, I hit my microphone.
Yeah, I skipped it this time because I couldn't remember it being important. But
I read it now because there's no way I read it when I was 10. Absolutely zero chance I read it back then.
Well, the only thing is I couldn't imagine like getting this in single issue and like say this is like your first Batman comic ever. Like,
right.
Like,
yeah,
wow,
right. You beg your dad to like take you like to buy a Batman comic and you pick that up and you're like, what the hell?
Because it has a cool cover. That's a shame that it's not anything like that in the interior. But I think it's weird how the Batman and Son starts with the
Joker
fight
and
with
Gordon?
and it's not even Batman. Like I don't know. I remember when I first read it, I had to like reread it because it shows
Right,
Batman.
it's like the 3
Joker.
Batman, right? Like the Bane looking one, and that's another thing. Like you can't start with this run. Like this is not a starter's Batman.
Yeah. It's definitely not. You definitely can't read it first. You have to be well equipped with like the knowledge and the lore. But like look at how confusing this is. Like it shows Batman up there, but you can just barely see the shooter right there. Like I don't know. It's just kind of. It's weird.
I did like Jezebel as a love interest in this arc. I know obviously she ends up turning in the end with the part of the Black Glove. But I thought she was pretty cool. I thought she was a good character.
Yeah. And when you're reading comics, sometimes you're kind of just into the story and you forget, like, we're never going to see this woman again in a few pages.
Right.
So you really like her dynamic with Bruce.
I think I didn't know that she turned because I didn't read, like, the Black Glove story. So I had Googled her because I was thinking that. I was like, I haven't heard of her in the last, like, few years Batman comics. Let me Google her. So I Googled, and on the DC Wiki, it said affiliation bad. And I was like, oh, man, that means she's going to turn.
Spoiler.
I spoiled myself.
Yeah, you did.
I love the Tim Drake Robin suit. I know it's not like for only this run, like that's the 1 year later, but that is like the perfect Robin suit.
I like how it's mostly red.
Oh yeah,
one solid color.
I think that's after what was that Infinite Crisis when Superboy died. I think he started wearing that suit.
And then 666 is part of this run, this arc, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like the end cap. I'm pretty sure.
That's another one where it's like it's way out there for like imagine Batman 666 was your first comic.
Right.
Damian Wayne with the bald head.
I just wouldn't start with Morrison in general.
I don't think you can.
It's definitely like expert reading.
But a lot of Morrison stuff. Like Morrison likes to. We saw this with Green Lantern, right? There's a lot of like pull some Silver Age threads and throw this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's a great writer, but it's just he does pull a lot of the source material, which is not, which is great,
all over the place.
But it's also not the greatest for new readers.
Well, we'll get into more about that because actually for the next arc, I actually have a big pro.
Okay.
That ties into that, but the introduction of Damien, the thing I always liked about this story arc is it gives Bruce a Robin that's already trained. I think that's kind of interesting, and it kind of goes more. It gets even more interesting as the arc progresses, particularly in the middle. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Like just like a trained Robin, like.
Really, Dick was pretty close too, since he was a circus kid. But yeah, this is like one that knows how to fight.
Yeah, I mean, this one's like an actual assassin. Like, I'm reading Tim Drake's Robin run right now. So like when he first gets introduced, like he's he's a great detective, but he knows like nothing about fighting. So it's a huge shift from where the Robin title was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I like through the duration of this run, it's more so like how does Damien kind of just become a kid? It's like the total reverse, like the kid into the soldier. He's kind of already a soldier, now he's got to be a kid.
Right, and that is interesting, like how they kind of switch up, the previous Robins.
They do. Like I didn't think of it that way.
Kid becomes a soldier, so that's a good analogy. Actually.
Yeah, that's really good.
I'd be curious. I've never really like saw anything about that. That was just kind of something I.
Looks like you got some. Looks like you got some Instagram content coming up then.
Yeah, I might actually make a post. But moving on, the Black Glove, that was the storyline with it was the International Club of Heroes.
There's another one where it kind of loses me because it's like there's a lot of lore there, right? I mean, that's a random 1960s Batman issue that it's referencing.
Yeah. So you guys never read? Well, it's out of print now, so you can't.
Black Case book.
The Black Case book.
Yeah.
No.
Why is that not in the Omnis? Like that's kind of weird, right?
It is weird. It's a lot
not
of issues,
digital.
Though. Yeah, you can't get it digital. The issues aren't even on DC Infinite or Comixology.
Nope.
Like it's like I don't know. You'd have to literally just buy them physical, which would be I don't know. It's weird, but a lot of people say like you should read it before you read the run because you'll understand the references. But the thing is, they didn't print the Black Case book till after the run, like around Final Crisis. So it's not necessary, but it's just interesting to see like where he pulls certain things from, like specifically like Zur-En-Arrh, the Club of Heroes.
Right, the Batman that's wearing these crazy colors. Like you read the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh the first time, you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, and Simon Hurt is wearing the costume he's wearing is a costume that Thomas Wayne wore to like a masquerade. So that was like kind of.
Oh.
Did people like when this run was coming out actually think that like he could be Thomas Wayne, or were they like calling the bluff?
I don't know because I think
wonder
about
that. Like how Will like they'll introduce something while we're reading it ongoing, and we're like, oh, that's fucking bullshit. There's no way that they're gonna do that.
Yeah.
And it's like I wonder what they thought.
I would be curious actually to see like because I feel like people were mad. They were like, what is happening? Like Thomas Wayne's a lot. Yeah. But what do you guys think overall with like the International Club of Heroes?
I think it's good. It's a good story. It is the run or the arc that made me sort of start to lose it because you get introduced to the Knight. It's like, okay, this is cool. Man of Bats is cool. And then you get like 6, 7, 8, 9 more characters, and it's just so.
It's a lot of it's a lot of content. It's a lot of characters. It's a lot of like,
a lot of dialogue.
Everything's being thrown at you at once.
Mm-hmm. It's a good murder mystery, but it's hard to solve the mystery for yourself because you're reading, but you also have like 13 characters that you have to kind of pull together, and not all of them are ones that you're familiar with unless you're reading comics 30 years before this. So
right,
like I know Batman, I know Robin, I'm introduced to all these other ones for the first time though.
Right. I do think it's like an interesting kind of like murder mystery, like the premise. That's the thing I feel like a lot of this run, right? The Morrison run has a lot of great premises, like Return of Bruce Wayne. I know we're not there yet, but it's like one of the coolest premises to me, but it's it falls flat on the execution. So I think
Yeah, I
a
have
lot of
that.
this run has like great ideas. I just think it doesn't necessarily get them all together,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. A lot of people are, that I've seen talk about this. They say like, why is there so many characters, and like, all these characters, they don't really have a lot of development. They're kind of just copies of Batman in some ways, just vigilante. But the way I look at it is, it's interesting because a lot of times when you're reading a Batman story, it's like he's the urban, shadowy crime fighter. But in this, in this particular story, in recognizing like the Silver Age story happened, it kind of cements like where Batman is in his career. Like he's a respectable crime fighter, and he's known like around the world. I thought that was cool. I think it's interesting because you guys know what I mean. Like,
well, and it also plants the early seeds of Batman Inc. Because this is obviously years
Yeah,
before Batman
I thought
Inc. will
this
ever happen,
was
but this plants
Batman
the
Inc.
seeds.
oh, you
You thought it
really?
was?
Yeah, I thought it was at first. I'm like, oh, I thought this was volume 3, but okay.
Yeah.
So definitely plants the seeds for that.
Yeah.
You tell Morrison had it in mind.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder how, like, I mean, with his run, I feel like he planned a lot of it early, because in the first arc, you see like Zernar like spray painted everywhere.
Spray painted, yeah. I noticed that this time around. I was like, wait a minute, I know those words.
Yeah.
Even Barbados, you see spray painted around places.
Right. Stuff that's gonna
Throughout
happen.
the whole book.
Turn to Bruce Wayne and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this issue where it has like the kind of old school like vintage style with like the dots.
Oh
That's
yeah,
pretty
I
neat.
noticed they did that a lot for the dotted panels, like in that arc. That is cool.
The
I'm a
halftone.
sucker for when
Yeah.
comics do that. Like I said, the art's not a problem for me, in pretty much the entire run. I think the ideas are good. It's just there's something about the writing that I don't know. And again, maybe it's like it reminds me of Morrison's, Green Lantern in a way. Not quite to the same level, but like how it loses me,
Me
Right.
too. Me too. But
And I
I
consider
think
myself a pretty seasoned Batman, reader. I mean, I've read a lot of Batman. Clearly this month
Mhm.
alone, I read a lot of Batman. But
you did.
this run just, I don't know, caught me off guard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you finally read it, because I've been telling
Yeah,
you
I
for
now
such a long
I've fully
time,
read it, every single issue.
Yeah. All right, moving on to, well, there's the resurrection of Ra's al Ghul. I don't know if you read that in its entirety.
Read like the Batman pieces of it. I know like it also went over in like the Robin and Nightwing.
Yeah, I
runs,
only
but-
read the Batman stuff because
Yeah.
that's what was in the
Yeah.
omnibus.
It's really not an important storyline.
I know like you Drew, you're not a big fan of that story, and you're like it kind of drags.
that was when I slowed down. It's funny because, well, you don't have the omnibus, JD, but they actually have like a 1-page summary of what happens, which is really all you need when it comes to that.
Oh,
story.
really? That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, it's I don't know if you can see it. It's like,
yeah, it's just a bunch of random panels all pushed together, and
Yeah,
there's
that's
little
interesting.
dialogue boxes being like Robin's here and Batman's here, and
Previously on the Resurrection of Ra's al Ghul.
yeah, but it's like 6 issues in one page. So
right. But it's just one of those things where basically all you need to understand is, oh, Ra's al Ghul's back. That's it.
Right.
Mhm.
Which plants the seeds of what's going to happen with Damien in the next few arcs, which is
yeah.
again like there's a lot of planting the seeds in this, which I do respect to the run.
Mhm.
Well, one thing that was actually kind of interesting about it was Ra's like unveiled his plan, which was like he wanted Talia to train and raise Damien so he could eventually like take his body, which was weird, but it was like, oh wow, that's crazy.
Oh
'Cause it
yeah,
kinda,
that's right.
that's
Yeah.
what really kind of cemented like, okay, I'm going with Batman. I'm not staying here, which is
Right. I don't know what arc it was, but when Damien like figured it out, where he's like, wait, he just wants to use me for my body? No, I'm gonna go hang out with Batman. And Talia's like, you have to make the choice, and he's like,
Yeah, Batman.
yeah. So moving on to Batman R.I.P.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, I
didn't
did
like
not like
it.
this. I did not
I
like
didn't
this.
like it.
Did not like this arc.
Yeah, this was the one. This was the first arc because before, like, all right, it's a little confusing with the House of Heroes, and it's still entertaining though. But Batman R.I.P. I felt
This
bored.
one is like, this one is just like it took me a while to read this. Like it kind of dragged on for me.
Mhm.
Wow. Honestly, this is probably the bit of the run that I read through the fastest because I don't know.
The
I have
Tony
a
S.
soft
Daniel
spot
art is
for it.
fantastic, but other than that, I was just
Yeah.
like, ugh, this arc is not it for
Um,
me.
I really liked the Zuranar suit. I know it's really
Or like
tacky
the
and like
red and with the yellow arms, and
it's weird looking. Um,
it is.
and some people are like, it's the homeless suit. That's what some people call it. I just like it's a version of Batman. It's like a backup. So like if Bruce was ever mentally compromised, that's his backup.
Right.
Like what do you get when you get like a mentally insane Batman? I thought that was cool. That doesn't hold back.
I don't know if the Omnis have like all the covers, but those Alex Ross covers are just fantastic.
Oh, they're
Like that's the
beautiful.
only time I've ever even seen Alex Ross draw Nightwing because he does not like legacy heroes. But the cover of Batman 683, you see like Nightwing on it. It's so good.
Because he said he doesn't like legacy heroes.
Yeah, he said it because people are like, why do you always draw like the Barry Allen Flash or the Hal Jordan Green Lantern? And he's like, those are my versions. Like he's a Silver
He's
Age
old.
kid. He's like, those are my versions.
Okay, fair
He
enough.
does not draw legacy
Yeah, fair
heroes.
enough.
So seeing him draw Nightwing is like, that's awesome.
I mean, one of the things I didn't like about RIP was it doesn't even conclude in the Batman title. You got to read Final Crisis to get like
Which is not in the Omnis.
it's
Like
not
not
that
the
seems to be
Omnis.
the biggest problem with the Omnis is like it covers a lot of content, but like this run just stretches like a lot of different books because Morrison was obviously doing Final Crisis at the time.
Yeah, but you do get like a huge explanation at the start of the second one.
Right.
Like you open the second one up, and it's just one page explaining what Final Crisis is
Previously
and what
on
happened to
Final
Bruce.
Crisis.
Yeah.
It's good to like if you've read Final Crisis, but you don't feel like reading it again because it's
Yeah.
I did not read like I know I had Drew make me a reading order because I was reading it digitally and DC Universe. I was pulling across different titles, and he had Final Crisis in there, which I skipped. I was like, nah, I'm not ready to go down that road of Final Crisis. I'm not. That's too much.
I mean, you've read it before, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
so no point. One's good enough.
One and done for me.
You know what happened, yeah.
Now, when
Yeah.
you get to Omni 2, because I see Hunter's like, got Omni 2 now, that to me is the best stuff. Batman and Robin, I mean, is just gold standard Morrison for me. It's great. Damien and Dick are just the perfect combo.
Yep.
They work together so well because instead of a brooding Batman and a happy-go-lucky Robin, it's a happy-go-lucky Batman and a brooding Robin. Like it's the perfect role reversal.
totally.
And I think we've talked about that before, Drew. Like it's so good.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's Frank Quietly on art. Of course, I'm gonna love it.
You have a soft spot, especially because Morrison and Quietly did X-Men.
Oh,
Yeah.
did they?
Yeah, they did Morrison's X-Men run.
Which
together.
I know Drew has a soft spot for, so this run hits for him. But it's so good, and we were talking about this. This is like, in my opinion, I don't know if you agree with this, Hunter, but this is how I like Red Hood the best, as he's kind of like the antagonist to Dick.
He is. I think he's in a good place right now, though, and I do
I
like
agree.
him as a villain, but I'm okay with where he is now.
Between Omni 1 and Omni 2, I read Battle for the Cowl, because that's not by Morrison, but it's like it kind of sets
It's
up
right before.
Omni 1 or Omni 2 rather.
Yeah, because it's right before it's who's gonna be
Right,
Batman.
yeah, right,
Bruce
who's
is
gonna
now.
be the Batman.
Mhm.
And that's a good story. But I like Batman and Robin. It's the first 16 issues, right, in this Omni.
Yeah,
I
16.
think so yeah. Mhm.
So you
First
get the
16.
Omni 2 is basically Batman and Robin, and then Return of Bruce Wayne, right?
That's literally all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and you get
So-
2 issues of just Batman.
So Return of Bruce Wayne for me is like, it's such a cool premise, right? Batman's traveling through time. He's a swashbuckling pirate. He's a detective on his own parents' murder. He's a caveman. Like he's in the Salem witch trials. Like that sounds so cool on its face, right? But like the actual story, I was like, other than like 1 or 2 of the issues, I was like, what?
The caveman issue was good.
Right.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah,
best. And
that was
the
it.
last 2 were good too, from what I remember.
The one where he's the detective, right? Where he's like investigating his own mother's murder.
Well, okay, going through them, Caveman was really good because it's him. Like he actually has a giant bat as like a cowl.
Right.
like a dead giant bat, and
Which looked really cool.
yeah, it looks awesome. And then so that was great, and he's just scaring people essentially. Vandal Savage is in it too,
Right.
which makes sense. And then he gets the witch trials, which is okay.
It should be better though.
Nothing happens really.
Yeah,
Nothing
exactly.
happens. It's nothing.
Yeah.
But it's such a cool premise. Batman at the Salem witch trials. Oh
Yeah.
God, I want it.
But he doesn't do anything. And then after that, it was the pirates, and he meets Blackbeard, but they just walk through a cave.
Again, that should be really cool. Batman, Blackbeard, swashbuckling pirate.
You think you see him like swinging from boat to boat and like getting in like actual fights against Blackbeard and pirates, but it's just he just walks through a cave and talks to Blackbeard for a little bit, and then leaves. Yeah, that's literally it. And then after that, is it? Oh no, then it's the Western, which also nothing happens.
Yeah, and another one. That's a great idea, and just nothing happens.
That's such a good start too.
Jonah Hex.
Yeah, because he has such a good start. It starts with that family being murdered, and it's just like Bruce Wayne appears, and he has like the cowboy outfit, but he has like the almost like the Lone Ranger style mask on, and he's like, "I'm going to solve your murder." And then next page he did it, and then he's just going to sit around for the rest of it.
Well, we're like, all right, we're gonna run out the clock on this issue.
Yeah, Grant Morrison like typed. He's like, oh, "Okay, I still have 20 pages to go." And then you get the gangster one, which is the mob boss kind of style one.
It's another one though that like should be better, like investigating your own mother's murder.
But instead, he's just kind of being seduced by this woman that's just using him.
Yeah.
So it's not really solving a murder; it's more being played. So it's good concept, but come on.
It's a great concept. I mean, Batman through time, like I didn't die. I'm going through time, and all those cool periods. I mean, who doesn't want to see, Batman in a Western? That's a great premise, or as the pirate. And especially like the covers for those issues are great. The one where he's, in the pirate uniform, or when he's in the detective uniform with the hat. Like that's so cool. Yeah, that's amazing.
On the horse.
Yeah. Oh, Professor Pig is great, by the way, in Batman and Robin. He's so creepy.
Yeah. Like he's definitely the most iconic villain that, was introduced in this run, for sure.
I agree. Yeah.
Because Simon Hurt, he was cool for the deception, but overall, it was just kind of like, oh, this guy. Like,
I did not realize that Professor Pig was first appeared in that Damien issue, the Batman 666. I didn't realize that's where Pig first appeared. I thought he was like a way old villain.
After that, I guess it was just Batman and Robin for the rest of it. There's a Joker arc.
There's there's RIP missing pages. I forgot, or the missing chapters. I forgot.
Right. That's like the Batman 700, 701, and 702, right?
Yeah, which is like weird. It just kind of fills in the gaps between RIP and Final Crisis. But aside from the art, it's not really anything. It's just like Batman gets out of the water, he goes back home, and then Final Crisis starts, and he gets captured. But yeah, it's not anything special. It's like he just kind of realizes, like, oh, something's gonna happen to me.
Yeah.
So this is like, in my opinion, the best Omni, but then like, fuck, like I don't know. It still seems like missed opportunity. Like even as much as I love the Batman and like this is why I gave the second Omni an 8 out of 10. Like it's got great stuff, but it's not fully there. So like you're riding the high of that, and then you go to Batman Inc. and I was just like, in my level of interest, because I was just like, man, it felt like that arc with the International Club of Heroes where I was just like kind of lost. Even though I do love that Batman Inc. suit, it's like I said, the art's never a problem, but the content of it,
I found the return of Bruce Wayne, like when he actually returns to the present time, was a little disappointing. You have the first shot of the silhouette, which is awesome, where he says it's all over. And then the first thing he says after being gone for a year and he sees his family, he just goes, "Is it Damien and Robin outfit? Let's get to work." And that's it. This is no like, oh my God, you're back. Even like Dick, Damien, and Alfred, they aren't shocked to see him back. No one's shocked to see him. They're just like, all right, let's get to work. We don't get that moment of like, to calm down. It's just, okay, back to the next Batman adventure.
You know what is really weird is, I couldn't imagine like you're just reading Batman and Robin, like, in those two trades, and all of a sudden Bruce is back. It's like if you're not
Right, you
reading,
have to read it like simultaneously with the Return of Bruce Wayne, or at least know that
Right.
that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just weird. I feel like it's almost a disservice if you're reading them separately, either in single issue or trade. It's weird without a reading order. I don't know how you'd read this run, because
Which is
really
why these are available.
and they're cheap too. So like, I mean, anyone can really. Oh, how much were they for you?
All right, Canada. All right, Canada.
Look at the back, Drew.
$99.
$99 a trade.
Wow, I bought the first two for like $40.
Yeah, I was about to say
Yes.
on American Amazon they're definitely like $40.
Yeah,
But it
it's
says 75
$300 for all three for Canada. So,
Oh,
but hey, you get some all right Batman.
Drew's not liking that one. All
I'm
right.
sorry.
real quick, that there's that the detective in Batman and Robin. I think his name's like Oberon Sexton. It ends up being the Joker. What do you guys think about that?
Oh
yeah.
yeah. That I did not see that coming, like
I didn't either.
at all.
Yeah,
That was odd.
yeah. I think early on in the run, it shows Joker killing a man and a woman, I think, or just a man. And I think that's supposed to be that guy. Like he took that guy's place. Like he was a writer.
Oh, he
or
took his
something.
identity.
Yeah. So
That's kind of
it's interesting.
yeah. I don't mind that.
And I thought it was kind of like interesting how like he helped them. Like he defeated the Simon Hurt in the end, which is weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. But what else?
Do you want to do volume 3?
Yeah, all this
Yeah.
kind of leads into Volume 3, Batman Inc. Now,
Yeah.
admittedly, I did not read the New 52 portion of Batman Inc. this time around.
Which is a shame.
I was a little burnt out after, and I know it's the better version of Batman Inc.
It is.
I was a little burnt out at the end of Batman Inc. I think it
Mhm.
ends with the Leviathan special, right? The original Batman Inc.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
just like, I was reading that Leviathan special, and that's a long fucking issue, and I was just like, click.
It is
Click.
long, and
Like,
there's
I felt like I
nothing
was reading that one
great in it.
forever.
There's nothing that great in it. It's just
No.
kind of separate stories with
Exactly. There's
some of the characters of Batman Inc. and not even like the good ones.
right.
The only part that I really liked in that was the Bat Cow inclusion. Like there was just no dialogue really.
Was that in New 52 though?
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, I think it was the very end.
Yeah. Because New 52 was really good. This was one of the best parts of Morrison's, which is a
Yeah.
shame because I thought the first one was kind of bad. So-
I agree.
Well, it was like kind of this
So-
weird. It was this weird transition where like the New 52 was coming, and it was just kind of like, where is this ending and is this continuing?
2010 was like an odd time at DC because they were like,
They're about to
oh
reboot.
God, what do we do? Like, we gotta wrap things up, but we can't really continue our story. And then some books like this one kind of did just continue.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Along with like Green Lantern also continued.
Oh, what I liked about the beginning, I mean, the first run of Incorporated was that Dick still had his Batman suit. That was pretty interesting.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I mean, obviously, like the whole point of Incorporated was just kind of expand the
Make more Batman, yeah.
the presence of Batman and the influence. But yeah, I don't know. To kind of track back to Dick as Batman, I liked seeing an acrobatic Batman, and I liked how he still uses a screamer sticks. That was pretty cool, and just the blue Batman costume. I mean, especially when Bruce comes back, to see, in animation or sometimes in comics, depending on how it's colored, Batman always kind of has like a blue shine to him. So I
Yeah.
thought it was cool to see like the blue costume next to the black costume.
Yeah.
It is nice. I kind of wish it stuck around longer, even though he is Nightwing in the end.
Yeah, I think if it continued, it would have been like a Wally West situation.
Well, I had read somewhere online that they had planned to keep the Dick as Batman like original plans for like 5 years, but then the New 52 coming kind of broke that up. Like they knew they wanted to reboot, so they had to kind of
really?
backtrack on it. Yeah, I read that somewhere.
Huh.
I don't know if it's true or not, but
Well,
I didn't
if you
know
read, if you look at issues from Detective or the Batman title at the time, it's still Dick, you know, like Snyder's first.
Right, the Black Mirror.
Yeah. And they mentioned incorporated in that, which is, you know, kind of cool just in terms of the timeline. But
This omnibus starts with David Finch on art just for one issue. He's got to be one of the best Batman artists.
Oh, so good
out there. I keep forgetting how good he
that
is.
original Batman Rebirth
totally.
stuff with Tom King was just peak art.
Yeah, literally. God, the shading.
You met David Finch too, right?
I did meet David Finch. Yeah.
What a great artist. Clean Batman.
Like just the big splash pages he does. That's just very simplistic, but it's like it's so well done. I also noticed that this run they do a lot of flashbacks to year one with the that's it.
Yeah.
This father, I shall become the bat.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
Well, you know, that is one of my favorite, or my favorite Bat page of all time.
Morrison's too. Morrison's as well, because he really flashbacks.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and there's a lot of the candle with the oath, right? In the
to Robin. Yeah, because he does that to a lot of people in Batman Inc.
Right.
I guess it's implied that he does that to everyone.
Right.
Which is
you know, yeah, it's cool. There's one issue.
Fun fact, David
sorry.
Finch, he actually trained, he actually taught Jason Fabok, like, drawing comics. You guys know that?
No.
Oh.
They have a similar style, though.
Yeah, I guess Jason Fabok sent David Finch, like, his portfolio, and then Finch agreed to, like, set up, like, a couple month, like, course for him to, like, teach him how to draw comics. It's really interesting because you can kind of see the similarities in a little bit. I always thought that was kind of cool, you know.
That is cool. Huh. I like that.
I mean, they're both Canadian boys, Hunter. You need them to take them. You need to be the third in that generation. Let them take you under the wing.
Time to email David Finch. I'll get Fabok to get his email to me.
You'll be the third in that line.
Yeah. There's one issue for Batman Inc. where they go into a computer.
Oh,
that was bad. It was
really bad.
That was the worst part of this run. What were they thinking? It's like unrendered 3D models. Everyone looks dead, essentially. This hurts my eyes.
Oh,
when you sent that to the chat, didn't you? That was so weird.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this? What am I reading right now?
Oh my god! Even the cover to that one kind of hurts my eyes.
Yeah, it's just what were they thinking? It's not drawn. None of this issue is drawn. It's just they take 3D models, but they don't render it because rendering could take days at a time. So they just screenshotted what they were working on, and then it looks bad. It looks like a PS1 game.
Yeah, Drew, that better be on your con list.
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
It's a weird idea. Let me see my camera focus. What is this dog?
Oh god, that's nightmare fuel.
That's a dog.
That's my sleep paralysis monster.
Exactly. Like, and like some of it is really overexposed. It's like
I just got to it.
Yeah, like the look at that. It's just very overexposed in lighting, and it makes the shadows just look like it's just going around this guy's head. I thought
that was a very bizarre issue.
It wasn't a boring issue because I was just like mind blown the whole time over why they thought this was a good idea.
Why that got approved by many people.
And the plot of this is there's viruses in the computer, and it launches on Wayne Manor. So then Bruce Wayne was having a meeting, and now everybody in that meeting is in the computer, and they have to fight these viruses, these business people trying to get a loan. They all fight, and then afterwards, the dialogue is really weird. Bruce is just like, "I'm so sorry about what happened. Like, if you all want to leave now, I understand. Have a good day." And they say, "This cured my asthma and my claustrophobia. I saw my own social mask and knew I am not that man. This is a revolutionary for human social interaction. Bruce, we can marry business and entertainment. A boring conference call can now become a blockbuster adventure and a chance perhaps for two lonely people to fall in love." What?
Metaverse.
Oh my god.
Who talks like that? It's just weird. Well, one business, they say, Bruce says, "Thank you, we'll continue." And the businesswoman replies with, "Sick." It seems out of place for a businesswoman, but okay.
Oh my god.
Sorry, that was the rant I wanted to do.
No,
Continue.
you're 100% right. That was a weird issue.
I was so weirded out by it.
What about the villain at the end of the first Incorporated? I'm trying to find his name. I think it was Otto Netz. He kept having like decoys. It was so hard to like follow.
Oh,
Yeah.
with the mask.
Yeah, because they kept doing fake outs, right?
Yeah. Or like I think there was one scene where he was there and then all of a sudden like Bruce looked over and he just like crumbled. Like it was like, what just happened? I don't remember where it was exactly, but yeah.
As you could see, this is why I was burnt out by Incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now that I really think about it, yeah, it was kind of.
And we talked about this, Drew, right? Because your brother says that he likes the Incorporated stuff the best, but
That was his favorite part.
It ain't it.
Yeah, ain't it? Although New 52 Incorporated was very.
New 52, I'll give you credit. That's a good book, and I like didn't realize how much weight that had with like the rest of the New 52 Batman like Bat books.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Like that, every Bat book felt the effects of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I just got to another part where it's referencing year one. I think it's referenced like 3 or 4 times in this run.
Mm-hmm. It's referenced a lot. The New 52 Incorporated is 13 issues. Well, that's at least what's collected here.
Right.
It's one arc too, which is helpful. It's not several, and it's basically the rise and fall of Damian Wayne. It's him choosing to be his own person and choosing to be Robin over being with Talia, and then eventually finding out about his clone and dying from his clone. So
it's interesting how you like actually like if you go from the beginning of Batman and Son to that like his death, like you grow to care about the character over that time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah,
like I know there's people online who will be like, oh, like, you know, we didn't miss much by seeing John Kent as a kid. Like no one wants to see that. It's not, you know, you're not going to get good development like that. There's a lot of great development that you could do that. I mean, look at Damian Wayne. Look at that growth we got to see there.
Mm-hmm. It's very, very well done. And even at the end, when Bruce accepts Damien's death, it's a very wholesome and sad moment where he's in the cave and he's like getting changed to go out for the night. He puts on the cape and cowl, and then he goes over and he stops and looks into the cave, walks over to the bat cow that Damien wanted, and he pets him. And it's just a panel of Bruce petting him and says, "Bat cow." And then he walks away and he just drops down to his knees and lets out a scream because like he's in so much pain over losing his son, and Bat Cow reminded it of him because that was Damien's pet. So it's got some great moments, and I really do like New 52.
It's
Batman.
Yeah, it's definitely way better.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, was there anybody like on the Incorporated team that you liked, or was the in particular? Or?
Man at Bats was cool, but he also had 2 issues to himself, so it's like we got to learn more about him. The others, it's very much like a montage.
I liked the Hood.
He had a cool design, yeah.
Yeah, and I liked the Gaucho. I think we had the most time with him with the red mask. But it's just weird overall. Like none of them really get a time to really shine a whole lot. This cover is really good. Like a little
Damien
homage to RIP.
Oh yeah, it is.
But yeah, I mean, I recommend this run to anybody that just doesn't like Damien because I promise you'll appreciate him.
Grow to appreciate Damien
end, for sure.
So, what's our overall thoughts on the run? Like, if you had to put a number on it, what's the number?
Oh, on the whole run.
We're 3 ends of the spectrum here. Drew's on the on the high. I'm on the low, and I think Hunter's in the middle of us.
Yeah, sounds like it. For like all of it, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, overall experience reading it.
I'll give it 7. It's good. It's not great. Yeah,
JD?
7.
I think I give it 5 because I think it has very high highs, but I think it has very low lows.
I'd give it an 8, honestly.
Oh,
I really like
really?
this run. I'll never say like I like it's better than New 52, but I think it could be a solid number 2 for me.
And you
Okay.
read this like what, like once a year, once every 2 years, Drew?
Yeah, like probably once every 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
No, I remember him saying that, like that he's read it like
Yeah,
multiple times.
I
I just like the themes and the messages. Um, there's just so many things about the run that I appreciate, but you know, there's definitely a lot of things that aren't good about the run.
it's gonna
It's
be a long time before I reread this, if I do.
really, yeah,
But
I got
hey,
a
those
feeling.
those
Yeah,
colorful omnis will look great on the shelf.
They do look amazing on the shelf.
yeah,
They're eye-catching. But even then, like my favorite Daredevil run is Mark Waid, and I've only read that once. Granted, it was recently, but my favorite
Right.
Batman run ever is New 52. I first read that as it was coming out, and I've read it twice. So I don't reread comics that much.
Yeah, you're not a big rereader. Me and Drew were big rereaders.
I don't know, there's too many things that I want to read. I want to just
See, I should be more ambitious like that, but I'm a comfort reader. I'm like, man, this runs like a warm hug. I need that warm hug.
like I would love to reread Batman New 52. Maybe, with the Batman coming out like now, I might do it because I'm so in that Bat mood. But kind
I'm
of
doing
want
right
to get
now.
into Doctor Strange. Kind of want to get into Moon Knight. Like there's
Moon
some
Knight
weird-
March, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So are you doing that?
No, I mean maybe I'll
Okay.
read some kind of Moon Knight, but not all Moon
Fair
Knight.
enough. Fair enough. Yeah. So there's other characters and there's other runs that I've never read that I want to read. Admittedly, I have never read Nightfall, Batman Nightfall, not once.
Oh, I
So
haven't either. I need
maybe
to.
I'll check that
Yeah,
out.
Drew hasn't read it either.
Okay, good.
I don't imagine Hunter. Like I know what you like and I know what you don't like. I don't imagine you liking it. I don't imagine you
Okay.
liking Gene Paul as Batman.
I like Gene Paul in general, though. Like I
Yeah,
like Azrael.
he's a bit of a dickhead as Batman.
Okay, fair
He
enough.
gets these
Well,
giant claws, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill these criminals." And
oh,
Tim's like, "Don't do it. Bruce wouldn't do this."
okay,
Great,
maybe
great.
I won't.
No, I mean, I like Nightfall. I love like that whole like era, but I know your taste, and I don't imagine you liking it.
Okay, well, maybe I'll just stick with my comics that I've never read that I'm just gonna read for myself.
Bring on Doctor
We'll see.
Strange, baby.
Yeah, we're gonna read some Doctor Strange stuff.
Doctor Strange,
Um,
December. Let's go.
December,
Nah, no, we need to read it before May.
Real
April.
quick to wrap this up, I want to hear you guys' favorite arc from this run and favorite artist.
David Finch for artist, even though
Yep.
he wasn't on it much. He had 2 issues,
Yep.
and then half of 700. Like a quarter, like issue 7. I think 700. That's the big one. There's multiple
Yeah.
artists on it, and he was one of them. As far as art goes, I think the last one, like just Batman Incorporated New 52, just those 12 or 13 issues there. I thought it flowed together very well. I read it all in one sitting, so that helps. But it felt like a beginning, a middle, end, and well written. And I didn't know that it was the death of Damien. So even though I knew that he died, I didn't know he died in this book. So when he was stabbed there, I was like, hey, I've seen this panel. Also like, oh no, but I've read Batman and Robin by
I've seen this before.
That's
What do you mean? It's
yeah.
brand new.
Yeah.
I think my favorite artist, I'm gonna go Andy Kubert. I mean, David Finch is great, but obviously only 2 issues. Andy Kubert does that first arc. Like I said, maybe it's the nostalgia. Maybe it's just that way he draws like I don't know, the faces that he does. Like I feel a lot of emotion in them. So I'm gonna go with Andy Kubert. Favorite arc, I'm gonna go with the arc, the Professor Pig arc of Batman and Robin. I'm not sure what the name of the arc is, but that's the one I found myself like being like creeped out by. The faces and stuff, like putting the faces on people was
The doll
super
people.
creepy. Definitely
Yeah.
made my skin crawl a little bit. Love it.
That's probably
Yeah,
my
it was,
second favorite.
Batman Reborn. That's what that was called.
Right.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, it's favorite arc Batman Reborn and favorite artist Frank Wiley. Has to be Frank Wiley.
I knew that was gonna be your
Had to
answer.
be. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad we finally got to do this. I was for a little while. I didn't think we were gonna actually get the chance to sit down and talk about it. But
Yeah, no, this was fun. We should definitely do this. Like, I mean, not that we're usually ever reading like the same stuff at the same time, but
Besides
if we ever
ongoings,
happen to,
now.
if that solar eclipse ever comes through again where we all line up, then we'll have to make another video.
You guys got read some Moon Knight with me.
No, we should definitely do this again. We'll try to link something up where we all kind of read the same thing. Maybe if it's just something all of us we haven't read, you know.
All
Or even
of us being new
something
readers.
that we've read, and just maybe it doesn't have to be recently, but we've all read a lot of the same stuff in general.
When Drew finally reads Invincible, we'll have to make a video because obviously
Yeah,
Hunter read it first, I read it second. So then you'll be the
Very,
newest
very
one to
good.
give it a 10 out of 10.
I'd be
Anytime
down to
you
do
guys,
New 52 Batman too.
I just recently read it, so I'm ready.
Snyder.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm reading that right now. So
Oh, there we go.
really
Oh,
enjoying
it's
it.
on you now, Hunter.
I mean, I've read it twice. I know it. So,
Yeah. I haven't decided if I'm going to read the whole run or if I'm just going to read up until I think it's called Endgame.
Endgame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you
Endgame
hit-
feels like the ending.
when you hit super heavy, you're just gonna be like, do I really want to keep going?
Mr. Bloom's cool, and
Bloom's
Yeah.
cool, but like the Jim
and
Batman
Bruce
stuff,
Wayne.
like I'm like, eh.
Bruce Wayne is very good in that. Like going to
I
the
mean,
bench
Julie
to
Madison,
talk
I
to
ship
Joker.
it all the way, homie.
I
But
don't
Bruce
mind
just talking to
Superman.
Joker on the bench, that's very good stuff.
That's a great scene.
Totally.
Mhm.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks, guys, for coming on with me. This was awesome. And we'll have to do this again sometime soon.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having us.
Thank you.